Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. It's April 2nd, 2020. 10 years ago, my dad died. It was April 2nd, 2010. Let me tell you, for the longest time, I never thought that I was even going to get to this point. But here we are, and in so many ways it feels like it was, 5 days ago, and in so many ways it also feels like it was 40 years ago. This is really hard for me to make, but I'm gonna do it anyway to let everybody know. There's a lot of stuff I have to say in this video, so so my dad died suddenly. We didn't know. He was very young, and he just started having chest pain, and we didn't know what was wrong. So we took them to the local hospital, and we just thought that he had some chest pain. We didn't understand what was going on at the time. And I was standing next to him, just having fun, joking around, and, just doing normal stuff that he does. And we must have been there a couple hours. They ran some tests, but it was, another thing that was so weird about it, for the longest time, I was mad because he also died on a Good Friday, for people who don't know any of this stuff. And I was mad for a long time because out of nowhere, it was weird. I got this bad feeling in the back of my knee, and I went to go sit down in the waiting room, and then my mom told me he had like some kind of heart attack, and they came to get me, and I was like, "Where's Dad?" And yeah. Wow, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Wow. So, I was a real young teenager when this happened, and I didn't really understand, like, a lot of things like I do now. And, my dad always told me to, look after my mom, because nobody else was going to. And I remember, it's funny, I remember talking to him about that, and I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, she's got her family, my grandma and her sister and all them, and you guys will see it in the Nightmare in Delaware series. I'm telling everybody everything. And no, they all abandoned her. They all abandoned my mom. It's funny too, my aunt, the one that Mantha and me were talking about in the Nightmare in Delaware series, she actually came over the day my mom found out my dad was dead. He's still dead, laying in the fucking hospital, and my aunt came over and said, my mom's crying in bed upstairs, and my aunt went upstairs banging on the door saying, oh, don't you think you should get downstairs and entertain everybody? And I went down there and I said, get the fuck out of my house. Don't step foot in my fucking driveway again, or I'll call the cops. And we didn't see her for 7 years. But yeah, that was one of the reasons why I'm so mad about my aunt and my family. Like, they're ignorant. And my mom was very hurt, lost her husband. I lost my dad. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about us. I knew from that moment that my life was over temporarily, at least. My life revolved around working 24/7 and taking care of my family. And making sure that Mantha was okay. A lot of bad things happened during all that stuff, so too many things to even go into. I remember being so pissed off because one of my ex-girlfriends showed up at my dad's funeral and tried to make it all about herself. And then she went online telling everyone that I ignored her the whole time. Well, it's because you were my ex and I hated you, and I don't know why you were even there. Like, when I tell everyone this shit, when I tell people this shit, guys, you wouldn't believe the stuff I went through. Like, it sounds so ridiculous, but it's like, it's crazy. Like, I hadn't been with that girl for 6 months, and she showed up at my dad's funeral making it all about herself. And then she went around online. I think we had Facebook at the time. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she was going around and she was telling everyone that I ignored her and I was rude to her at my dad's funeral. I can't stand fucking people sometimes, man. I'm sorry, I just can't. Like, I'm such a good person. I really am. And like, my dad always told me this kind of stuff, you know, you gotta protect your family and protect everybody, because these kind of people, they come out of the woodwork and they want to hurt you. Yep. And my mom was stuck in Delaware for a while, and I lost my dad, and let me tell you guys something. The next 10 years, they were a big struggle. Big struggle. My mom lost her house. Lost everything. We moved to Vegas. I did as much as I could to help my family, and I moved to California, and then ended up back here in Vegas with them because they still needed my help. It's been a lot. It's been almost too much to process, really. Sometimes I have to really look back and remember, like, all the things that actually happened, because I don't sometimes I push so much of this out of my head because I don't want to remember all of it, but then I'm like, wow, that happened, and that was crazy. And it's like, I can't even believe the stuff that happened to me and my family. Like, and my dad was a good person. He was, but he was not always that way. And for the longest time, I was struggling with that for the longest time, and that's what the Nightmare in Delaware series is about. When he bought that house, something changed in him. That house that you guys have seen in the Nightmare in Delaware series. We moved into that house, and man, he turned into a mean drunk. And do I blame him for that? You know, I don't know. I tried to forgive him a lot. I always tried to win him over, you know what I mean? I always tried to get that you did a good job from him, because he was like, man, he came from military, and it was so hard to get him to say you did a good job on anything. I remember one time he said you did a good job. One time, and I was just like blown away by this shit, guys. And I know he tried his best looking back now, but it's like, shit, man. Like, the shit that happened to us the last 10 years. And the funny thing is, if you're watching this, it's April 2nd, 2020. Like, everyone's running around about this, you know, this lockdown stuff and all that stuff going on, right? Well, that's kind of how my life's been. It's crazy. Like, my life, when I was a young teenager, it was finish school, work 40 hours a week at the same time, get done, then go work 60 hours a week, and then I finished school, and then I was working 60 hours a week, and my life was just home, work, home, work, home, work for years. And it was frustrating. It was very frustrating for years. Like, imagine going to work and it's like, at least I got my Grand National out of it. The car I'm sitting in now, that's why I'm sitting in this car for this video, because this is the one thing I got out of all of that. My beautiful car. You know, my dad, the one thing I liked about him, though, was, like, I really liked about him was he was an honest man. He was hard, don't get me wrong. He was fucking hard, man, let me tell you. But he was honest. And he was a straight shooter. And I think that's where I got it from, because I'm honest and I straight shoot people. And, no matter what, I have overcome so much in the last 10 years. And so has my mom and my family. They have overcome a lot. You know, people that were put in their position, and my grandma and all them, I didn't know this at the time, but man, they dangled money in front of my mom, and they told her to do what we say, and if you don't, you're out of the family fold. And my mom made the hard decision. She did. She made the hard decision. And she left the family fold, and they cut her off, and they wouldn't help her with anything financially or emotional support at all. There's no support. And it's amazing to me how transparent family members could be. Like, I would never do that to somebody. Like, and then my mom struggled for years. And I struggled for years. Oh my fucking God, I struggled for years. God, I struggled. But I overcame a lot. Yes, I did. I overcame a lot. Let me tell you. And I did some things that I never thought that I would do, because I refused to quit. That's always been my mentality my whole life. I will never fucking quit. I'll go down swinging. I don't care. Don't give a shit. I'll go down swinging. I got to live in beautiful Southern California. I got to move to Vegas. I got this Grand National. I became somewhat social media famous online. And it was all because I worked my ass off for it. That was why. I worked my entire ass off for all of it. This camera, even the camera I'm holding, worked my ass off for it. Everything. And I just know that in the next 10 years even, I'm going to be so much further than I am now. I just know it. And I know that my dad would be proud of me, everything I've done. And I'd like to add that I've done this going through my dad's death and then a couple other family members' death. I lost my dog right before my dad died. My first dog, Trouble, she died on Valentine's Day. He lost his mom 6 days before I was born. I mean, there's a lot, guys. There's a lot. And then having my mom's whole side of my family cut us off because we were now considered poor. I mean, except my Uncle Mark, I would say, and my Uncle David, they're good people. But their families are good. Their families are good. But it's unbelievable what I went through for 10 years. And I came out of all of it on top. I did. I did. And I thank my dad for that because, you know, I really feel like he gave me the strength to push through all this shit. Whoa, almost dropped my camera. I love him and I miss him so much. You know that? It's like I can't ask him for advice or anything. But I feel like I'm doing a good job, you know? I feel like I'm doing pretty good, actually. A lot of people would say that I'm doing a good job. And I'd like to add, during all that stuff I went through over the last 10 years, I must have worked 20-some jobs. I'm not kidding. Like, I worked as a bus driver, I sold cars on the side, and then I delivered at night. I would leave at 6 in the morning, not come home until 12 at night, and then go back out, get back up and do it again. And right after I finished high school, I mean, and I worked at car dealerships. I mean, I've done everything to make sure my family didn't tank and I didn't tank. And during all that, I kept very little for myself. I gave most of it to my family, which most people would never do. But oh man, because like material things never mattered to me. As long as my family was safe and I was safe, I was good. But whew, I tell you guys, I love all of you for like just making me feel like I made a difference to you. Whether it was my series on YouTube, which, you know, is my real life portrayed as a series, you know, or it was anything that I've done, you know, anything online, Twitch streaming. We'll be live hopefully today, if not every day, by the way. Events, people I've met there, like if I just, like I made you guys happy, like that was my goal, to make you guys happy, and I was happy. And it made me feel so good that I made so many people feel so good. And that's all I could ask for, really. But let me tell you, I went through fucking hell. I went through hell. Individually, not just my family, but me as a whole. I went through hell. I was up a, you know, river, certain creek without a paddle. You know that saying. For the longest time, I was mad at God because I was like, man, what the fuck did I do? What did my family do? What did my dad do? I mean, he was a hard man, sure, but he wasn't a bad person. Sure, he drank a lot, and he was, you know, he turned into a certain person when we got that new house, but he was still a good person, you know? Deep down, he was still a good person and a hard worker. That's probably where I got it from. But, man, I tell you guys, I'll try to respond to everybody's comments too today, because I'm probably not going to be doing too much. I might go live on Twitch today. I love you, Dad, and I miss you. I really do. And I hope wherever you're watching, you know how good I've done, and my family's done. I hope you can see it. And I hope you see that I didn't let those motherfuckers get Mom. I hope you see that. Because I was never going to let those motherfuckers get Mom. I did what you asked. I protected her. And I hope you see that I didn't let those motherfuckers get Mom. I hope you see that. Because I was never going to let those motherfuckers get Mom. I did what you asked. I protected her. I did what you asked. I protected her. And let me tell you guys something. A lot of people come out of the woodwork when you see a widowed woman with 3 kids, 4 kids really, if you count my sister Sarah. But it's unbelievable. But I did it, and I protected Martha and Sydney. For 10 years. We did it, guys. We did it. And we're still going to be doing all our series on YouTube. We're still going to progress with that. We're going to get further in the industry. We're doing a lot of good things. We went with Mountain Dew to Martinsville. That was the best moment of my life. I always said too, it takes a special kind of person to come from nothing and especially lose everything, and then to get to where I am, or even, where anyone else gets to, that takes someone special, And keep in mind, I've done what I've done over the past 10 years. I never smoked, I never drank, I never did one drug, nothing. Nothing. To suppress my upset, my depression, man, my sadness, the constant confliction of being mad at my dad and not being mad at him, and then being mad at him, and then we had some evil stuff in our life. There's no doubt about it. And I do think, to a degree, greed got the best of my parents. I do. Especially my dad. More so my dad, because he wanted... That's where I'm different than him. He wanted all this stuff to fill voids, to feel happy. But I'm always going to keep that with me, no matter what. I will not do that. That's why I'm not a materialistic person. I always said if I had my Grand National, had some Mountain Dew, and a place to live that was safe, I was good. I was good. And of course, my Callie. I love Callie. God, she's a blessing right there. Callie. It's really tough for me because, like, almost every calendar day is plagued with something that someone died. Believe it or not, yeah. It's hard to deal with sometimes. Like Valentine's Day, April 2nd. Look, my parents' birthdays are in March, not that far away. My dad had just had a birthday before he died. We had another close family member of ours die on Mantha's birthday. My dad's parents both died around my birthday. If for the longest time he was, I know that he looked at me differently because of that. He really did. But he got over it and he was fine. I'm not holding that against him at all. But, like, he lost his mom 6 days before I was born. So I know it was hard. My mom told me he couldn't come home for a while to look at me. But he did a pretty good job. He did. He really did. No matter what, I'm gonna say that. He did a pretty good job, Dad. He did. Because, you know, how old were you? Like 25 or 26 when I was born? Hey, you did a pretty good job. You did. But I want everyone to remember that even when you feel like dying, you keep climbing the mountain. Keep doing it. Just keep climbing. You keep climbing. Don't stop. Don't let anyone tell you anything. I'm telling you guys this because I am the perfect example of that. For years after my dad died, even before that, people always came around telling me what to do, how to live, and for a little while I listened to get some money to live because I needed to live. But I'm telling you guys, don't lose track of what you want to do, ever. Don't ever let anyone convince you, because so many people are so conniving and vicious and they just want you to fail. And I fought them all off and I still came out on top. That just shows how weak they are and how strong I am. And no matter what, I'll always be the same way. I ain't never gonna quit. I'm sure by the day April 2nd, 2030, I'll be looking back at this and be like, wow, I've come so much further even since then. And I got me a pack of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar right there that just came out. And that's one of the things that always makes me feel better, is a good Mountain Dew. They just came out in the packs anyway. They've been out at Taco Bell for a little while, but I'm gonna go inside when I'm done this video and have a good old-fashioned Mountain Dew. I love Mountain Dew. And I just love you guys. Thank you so much for making my life mean something. Thank you. And I'm going to continue to keep getting further along for you guys, and we're all going to ride this wave together. We are. We're going to achieve a lot more. We're going to achieve a lot more. Me and my dad love NASCAR. We love racing. Ever since I was a little kid, we watched racing. I never stopped watching racing. I love racing to death. And one day I will race. One day we'll be on TV. We'll be even more successful online. Millions and millions of YouTube subscribers, followers, everything. We're starting to do really good on Twitch. It's great for live streaming. We're going to be shooting movies because I still want to direct films. Those are all coming. It's coming. And this car is going to be beautifully restored. Even though I kind of like it the way it is, but it does need to be restored eventually. And I'm going to have all the Mountain Dew I can drink. Yeah, that's right. All the Mountain Dew I can drink. So, I want to make sure that this video gets up today. So, just so everybody knows, it'll probably be in a lower end quality. Not that you guys would care, I'm just saying, just letting you guys know. I'm thankful for my friend Mike too, by the way. My friend Mike stuck by me through all of that stuff, and I can't say, I don't think anybody else has except for my mom that was there with all that and after and still there. So thanks, brother. I'll see you again soon. I know I will. See you again soon, Mike. I love you guys so much, and I just know my dad would be proud of me. And mark my words, we are going to be very successful, all of us. We're going to change the world. I have the power in me to do it. I do. We're going to change the world for the better, not the worse, the better. Oh boy, I just now touched the screen. We've been going on for over 30 minutes now. So let me cut this short here, guys. I'm sorry. I love you guys so very much. And we'll be on Twitch later, probably, if not tomorrow. Twitch link's down in the description. I love you guys. Love my family. Love my friends. I love Mountain Dew. Just remember, keep everybody close to you, guys. Keep everyone close to you that you can. And remember, always do the best that you can. Because I always stood by that motto, and it works. I always try to do the best I can. If you do the best you can, you can't go wrong. Because at the end of the day, you're like, well, you know, A for effort. You know what I mean? That kind of mentality. But still, it makes me feel good to know that I've always done the best I could. And I'm going to continue to do the best I could. I'm actually looking forward to how much further I'm going to be 10 years from now. Thank you guys for listening to my video. Thank you. Please enjoy the series on YouTube, all the series I wrote. And please enjoy all the live streams and everything I've done, Instagram, everything for you guys. And thank you for making me feel like I'm important to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry this is hard. Oh boy. Anyway. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for watching me and watching everything I do and just sticking by me. This is Tony Tornado signing off, and just remember, we're going to change the world.